Qcube 1.1 installation. First, we're going to start out at the Qcube website. We're going to download the current release 1.1. Now this install is going to be on a Windows Vista machine running WAMP. You could also use XAMPP. I just happen to prefer WAMP. We're going to extract the file, which is downloaded to our desktop. And once we do this, we're going to put this into our local web directory for our WAMP installation. Now that we have QCubed extracted, here's a directory view of what the files will look like. And we are going to move this whole directory into our www folder. With Winamp, all we have to do is right click on it and we can pull up our directory, our web directory. We'll move the folder over. And we're going to rename this folder to project. That way we'll be able to browse our website at localhost/project. Now that that's been installed, we're going to browse to our local host, and this is the WAMP index page, and we'll see our subfolder project. Once we open this, it's going to bring up the config checker very first thing because our configuration hasn't been checked yet. So we're going to go into our project folder, includes configuration. From here we're going to pull up our configurations include.php file, and I'm going to edit it with Notepad++, which is my favorite editor for real quick small edits. Now the config checker is going to tell us what we need to set our doc root to and everything else, which is really neat. It's a nice addition to 1.1, which didn't exist before. So in our config, you'll see where we define our doc root, and from here we're just going to paste the doc root that the config checker suggested. We're going to save the config file here, and then once we go back to our page here, we'll just click I'm done. And you'll notice that now it's going to move on to the next line. Here we're going to have to set our subdirectory to project. And we're going to go back to our config file, change the subdirectory to project. Now that we're done there, the last thing we need to do is configure our database. So again, we're going to go to our WAMP in our taskbar, and we're going to pull up PHP-MyAdmin, and here you're going to see a project database which I've already set up. It's an empty database for now. Here is the privileges, and we have a root user who has privileges to this database. So we're going to go back to our config file, and the database setup is near the bottom of the config file. And from here we're going to use the adapter for MySQL 5. Localhost is going to be our server. Project is the name of our database. Root is our user, and no password in the development environment. Of course, in a production environment we would change a password. So we're going to save that. We're done. And here we are. We're at our It Worked page. This is the page where we'll be able to later use our dev tools to be able to do code gen, unit tests. We can view our drafts around code gen, view examples, and install plugins. And that's how simple it is to install Qcube 1.1. We'll do further tutorials on using the code gen later.